let's begin. Move on over here. Okay, we're gonna get started. Hi, welcome back to Chow with Chow. Today we're making lunch out of a cookbook that we just bought. It's brand new. It's the Walks of Life cookbook, which we're super excited to have because we've been fans of them forever. And we're making some fried rice and some sauteed cauliflower. So we're starting with our aromatics. We've got our garlic, ginger, and scallions. And what we're making today is a golden fried rice. And it gets its golden name because you mix egg yolks in with the rice before you even cook it, so it gets a nice golden color. It's a very restaurant style. I've never made it at home before. I'm excited to see how it turns out. I'm just dicing up my aromatics nice and finely because with fried rice, we want to make sure we have all of our ingredients ready to go before the fire even starts. Something that they're not doing in the recipe is adding any vegetables, which is very restaurant style. And I just happen to have one bok choy, so I'm just gonna chop that up really finely and add it in there as well. Within this recipe, we're using these little dried scallops, which will give it a really restaurant flavor. Luckily, my mom happened to bring some from Taiwan, so I have these. They're very briny, they smell like the ocean, they look like little candies. And you have to rehydrate them by adding them in some hot water. So I've got them here. They've been soaking for about half an hour. And then we'll break them apart. Okay, they need to keep soaking. But then we'll shred them up and then add them to our fried rice. You know, making fried rice is really just about using whatever you've got in your fridge. And even though I'm following this amazing recipe, it's calling for cured ham, which I don't have. So I'm just adding some Chinese sausage. You can just use whatever you want, add what you like, take out what you don't like. It really is just flexible. So good. There we go. Traditionally, this recipe is made with just egg yolks to make it nice and yellow, but I'm a big fan of eggs and I don't mind more scramble. So we're gonna put some egg yolks in here and then we're gonna do just whole eggs. I'm just gonna keep all of our egg whites. All right. So in here, we're gonna add some Shaoxing wine, just a little splishy splash. We're gonna add some salt and some white pepper. We're looking for about 5 cups of rice. I made this rice yesterday and just kind of left it out on the counter for it to get drier, cooled all the way down. It's like kind of dry and crispy on the top.
Why do we need it to be dry?
You want the rice you're using for fried rice to be dry so it can absorb more flavors and it's not all stuck together. I even think for an appropriate and ideal fried rice, this rice is a little too wet still. Maybe I should have fridged it and then let it dry out a little bit more. I'm also using short grain here, which is just generally more sticky. And if you use like a jasmine rice or something that's a little more long grain, it'll be less sticky. So we'll see what happens. It's a little sticky, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. You definitely don't want large clumps of just like white, unflavored rice for sure. Just not sure how this is going to be enough egg to coat all of this rice. But I'm just trying to break up these chunks of rice as I go in. So then all of our little grains can be covered in egg. So the scallops weren't softening up, so I just steamed them for about 15 minutes. And look, they're so glorious and soft now. So steaming is the trick. You gotta soak them, steam them a bit. It'll soften right up. Now we're just gonna saute up and just scramble up these eggs. And traditionally we would be using a wok, which obviously would be the preferred cooking vessel. But we don't have fire, so we don't have a wok. But I'm gonna just use something with high walls because when we're stirring everything together, I don't want it all to fall out. Now I don't want it to overcook because I don't want really dry eggs. So I'm gonna scoop it out, turn my fire up, and time is of the essence. I'm gonna start sauteing our next bits. I've never cooked with these scallops before, but I think it's ready because all the little shreds are crisp, they're golden brown and really fragrant. But it looks good, so we're coming in with our Chinese sausage. Adding in some extra veggies, my bok choy from earlier. Nice and shiny. Now we'll add our ginger, garlic, and then our scallion whites. I'll save these for our garnish on top. lot of rice. Okay, and our final step is to just mix in our scrambled eggs again. And we just gotta season it to taste. Mmm. Oh my gosh, good. I mean, obviously I can't help myself. I'm just gonna dive right in. It's just Vincent and I eating this anyway. Mmm. It's like your classic delicious fried rice. The main notes I'm feeling are like the white pepper, you know, the egg. I think the egg mixture helped each individual grain like stay a little more separate. Not as yellow and golden as I thought it was gonna be. I guess if I added like 15 egg yolks, it would be really golden and beautiful. I'm surprised by the scallops. I honestly don't see why I wouldn't always add the scallops into my fried rice, because it really gives it like a restaurant level flavor without it being very seafoody. It's just that kind of umami flavor that just feels like your home fried rice is missing. That was super yummy. I'm just going to put a lid on it and just scooch it aside, and we can work on our cauliflower dish. Garlic ginger chilies. All right, so that fried rice was relatively easy. I mean, a lot of prep, but pretty quick to stir fry up together. And now we are going to make something to go with it, our cauliflower. So the cauliflower dish we're making today, I'm super excited about because Vincent and I freaking love it from restaurants, and I've never even considered making it myself. So very excited to see it in the Walks of Life cookbook. I'm super excited to dive in. What we've got here is a Chinese cauliflower, or a flowering cauliflower. So you can see it looks quite different than our generic other cauliflower. It has like much longer stemmy stems. It's a little greener. Its florets are like more open and less tight. So I'm gonna cut it and prep it just like I would with regular cauliflower. I'm gonna section them into little florets, but I want them to keep their long little stalks. Very much how it's served in the restaurant is having these stalks. Like that. Now, we're going to get some pork belly in here. Now, this is optional, but just a little bit of meat, a little bit of that kick-a-pow flavor. So I'm just gonna cut this into thin slices. The last ingredient we need is some red onion that we're gonna slice nice and thin.
Saute time?
Yes, but actually I'm gonna make the sauce first, so then we have it ready to go. And then when we're sauteing, we're just like, sauce.
Dude.
I got it.
Pure agony.
Just guesstimate. It's about a tablespoon. That was a lot. Ready. Let's begin. Move on over here. Okay, we're gonna get started. Step one. I'm gonna saute this red onion. Get some oil in the pot. Once again, I'm using a high-walled pot because I feel like our cauliflower is just gonna fall out of the pan. Use whatever you got. I'm gonna put these directly into our serving pan right at the bottom. Oil in and our cauliflower. Maybe in batches. Scooped all these guys, we'll set them aside. We'll add just a little bit of oil, and let's go in with our pork belly. We're just gonna sear them on both sides and let the fat render out. Got some nice color on our pork belly. In we go with our aromatics. We're adding in a tablespoon of our soybean paste. Add some flavor. It's supposed to be spicy, but we don't have spicy soybean paste, so added a little bit more chilies. Got some bell peppers to add a bit more crunch and just some variety of veg. And then throw our cauliflower back in. Oops! And then we have that sauce that we prepared earlier, so we didn't have to sit here and measure. And I'm trying to cover each garlic. And I'm stirring this to make sure I'm covering each individual cauliflower floret with all the seasonings. Our sauce, the garlic, the ginger, the chilies, everything. And we'll put it right on top of our red onions from earlier. It shan't fit. Da 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 da! Gorgeous! I've got my reserved scallions, and we can do a little sprinkle sprangle on top. Look at that. Incredible. Amazing. So we've got our gorgeous cauliflower, our slightly cooled but still delicious fried rice. Ah. It smells lovely. Not quite as spicy as I feel like at the restaurant. And just based on looks, it doesn't look as, I don't know, it doesn't look as like shiny and glossy like their picture or when I've seen it in the restaurants. And maybe that was my fault. Maybe I was a little too light with the oil. You know, cooking at home versus a restaurant, it's always a little different. But let's give it a little noms and see what's up. Doesn't taste like the restaurant. Let me just say that. It tastes very much like I sauteed cauliflower at home with some good seasonings, you know. It's good. The pork belly's flames. But it definitely doesn't taste like the restaurant style cauliflower. And you know, I think there's probably quite a few reasons for that. We didn't use a wok. You know, our fire was not like crazy hot flames, super fast, hot oil. And that temperature is always gonna make a humongous difference. So I think that played a huge role here. I also think the very key ingredient of spicy soybean paste, which we didn't use, we just used regular soybean paste. I think that's also missing that like iconic kind of spicy flavor. It's missing an oomph. Still fantastic. It is what it is. Still really good. Texture's great though. I mean, I cooked it perfectly. It's very crisp, tender. It's got a crunch, but still soft, like good cauliflower. Lordy, lordy, lordy. This was fantastic. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm gonna go make a big old bowl and just chow down on both of these. And I'll see you next time.